Hey Board Game Maniacs, Maniac Rob here to bring you another episode of The Walking Dead All-Out War Prelude to WoodBury. This is part 3 in the month of none other than The Walking Dead All-Out War by Mantic Games. Hope you've been following along up until now. If not, spoiler alert. I'm going to give you a spoiler alert right now. And that is, in part 2, I ran out of time. Brian Blake ran out of time and he wasn't able to gather the food for Philip, gather the supplies for Philip and go back to the estate and give it to him to prove his worth. Unfortunately, because of that reason, there probably was a squabble between Brian and Philip because, brothers, they squabble with each other. And on top of that, it is a zombie apocalypse. So, of course, there's going to be more energy and more problems with each other and a lot of conflict going on. So let's look at the board. I'll go over what Brian Blake has to do in this part 3 of Prelude to WoodBury. Philip is dead, and Brian has become the leader of WoodBury. However, he needs a way to inspire loyalty in his people. He has discovered that they love the spectacle of arena combat, with the added threat of chained walkers. But of course, that means that someone has to chain them up in the first place. The Prelude to WoodBury Part 3. Now, you've seen from the intro how the board is set up. We'll go over a little bit more in detail, but you can see here it explains everything that you need to be set out and laid out to play the game. One thing I really like about this, because Mantic has this all very simplified for you so that when you're going to play the game, you just have to follow a diagram and set it up. It's pretty simple, I have to say. And one thing you have to notice here, which is really cool, is this is the first time ever that for Prelude to WoodBury, Brian Blake actually gets to start off with starting equipment. And the starting equipment he has is as follows. He has the kitchen knife. It's a melee weapon. Dual wielding sharp. May reroll 1 per melee attack. This stacks with the dual wield keyword, which is really a dual wield. You can do it in both hands, so you can have 2 of them when you're attacking. He also has a bandage. You've seen this in the other battle reports. I don't really have to go over that. It just heals you, or helps heal you. He's got his trusty Beretta 82. It's a range of 10 inches. Handgun reliable. Add a white die to the attack roll. And again, because it has handgun for the keywords, you can use it in melee combat, which is pretty sweet. Now, I've never seen this before. This is the leather jacket armor. It's a body armor. Discard to ignore all damage from a single round of melee. So you get uses, but unfortunately you have to discard this after it is used. You don't keep it because it's damaged. And Brian's stats, you've seen this in all the other videos though. White die for melee, white die for shooting, 2 red for defense. His nerve is medium. Before WoodBury, again, this is before he takes over WoodBury, but he's pretty close. This is part 3 of the Prelude to WoodBury, and Philip has died. Now, you don't know why Philip has died, it didn't say, but I would probably have to guess that where Brian went out in episode 2, like I said, this is a spoiler alert. If you never watched part 2, go check it out before watching this video. But the spoiler alert is very simple, is that Brian failed in his in part 2 on gathering supplies to give to Philip. So Philip was probably angry at him for doing that, so the two of them got in a little scuffle, and Brian just got tired of being pushed around, and he offed his brother Philip. That's what I'm saying anyhow. And he starts off with this 5 for his health. His special rules for Brian is tenacious. When Brian loses his last wound, roll the black die. On his shield, he remains in place standing with 1 wound, so that can be really good too as well. And that is it for Brian's card. Nothing different except for where, again, we are starting with equipment besides just the Beretta 82. And before we start, just to go over the key words, rules that are on these cards. So let's look at the kitchen knife. You can see right here, the dual wield and sharp. Dual wield. When carrying two dual wield weapons, choose which you attack with. You may roll one die of your choice. So that's what that dual wield means. Now sharp is, when winning melee, roll a black die. Shield target loses 1 extra health. That is for sharp, so dual wield and sharp. For the handgun, we already seen this in the previous ones too as well, but just to go over it again. So the handgun keyword is going to be that you can use it in melee. For reliable means that you can re-roll for an ammo check when you make headshots. Special rules for this scenario, pretty much, just to sum it up, Brian is responsible to be capturing some walkers. So he don't want to kill all the walkers, he wants to capture some of them. And I think you'll have to actually capture 4 if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to look at the rules here just to confirm this. I was right, it is 4 walkers that he has to capture. And when he captures them, instead of, the only way he can do it is he's fighting in melee and they're knocked down prone. You know, he goes and he picks it up. When he picks it up, when I say when he picks it up, I mean when he's pretty much dragging a walker behind him, the walker gets taken off the board and you use one of these tokens. These tokens represent the walkers and they follow with Brian no matter where he goes. And when he's doing that, he can't do a run action. He can only do a sneak because the weight of the walker is slowing him down to the point that he's not strong enough to have him and, you know, run fast while other walkers are chasing him. But once he picks these up, he wants to make it to the truck and put them in the back of the truck so that, you know, they're pretty much captured, they're tied up, and he's going to take them back to the compound so that he can chain them up for the arena for fighting. How you lose the game for this one is either one of 2 ways. Number 1, the threat track goes up to 18 and that means the game is over and you lose. You don't die, you just lose. Or the second one is if Brian is killed or bitten and turns into a zombie. And that is how it just ends for Brian, and then the walkers would win. That's pretty much simple enough. And one thing I have to note about these tokens is that when zombies are coming into attack, they can't stand on top of these tokens because they're other zombies. They're not going to be able to stand on other zombies while they're attacking you. So, you know, I could potentially create a barrier with all the 4 tokens, or 4 zombies, walkers, I should say, not zombies, they're called walkers in The Walking Dead, and keep them around me so that the other zombies can't come in close enough to attack me. Interesting. As you can see from the game board, this is probably the largest game board that I played so far for Prelude to WoodBury. It has a total of 15 inches by 15 inches, so it's a 15-inch square board that you play on, and that is it. Before we get into this game, I just want to make one little quick note, and that is if you like these videos, the Walking Dead All Out War videos, or even other different videos that we post on our channel, we try to post, well, I do know that we post every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now again, Eastern Standard Time is because we are in Ontario, Canada, but we do post every Saturday morning. And don't forget, you know, like the videos, subscribe to our channel. I can't even say that word while I'm rambling. Subscribe to Board Game Maniacs YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to our Board Game Maniacs Twitch channel. We also have Facebook and Instagram that you can click on so that you can find like behind the scene photos, a little bit of more information, more candid stuff that is involved for onto the Facebook thing. And by doing so, you're helping Board Game Maniacs continue shooting these videos, continue making a wide variety of videos. And again, this here is in the month of January. It is the 3rd video of this month, part 3 of The Walking Dead All Out War, obviously. Next month, you're going to be able to find out what videos are going to be posted by going to our Facebook page. So facebook.com/BoardGameManiacs. And you will see our shooting calendar that is up there so everybody can view it and see what videos that we're shooting, what dates we're shooting them, and also what is the theme of next month. So check it out. Go to facebook.com/BoardGameManiacs so that you can check it out. Also, another thing that is introduced into part 3 of the scenario, we've been doing it all along because, again, I played The Walking Dead All Out War before. I shot more videos from the core box set, not the Prelude to WoodBury, but just the core box set for The Walking Dead All Out War. But in here, the new rules are like equipment slots. We already played that. Bite marks, we already know how to play that one. And capturing walkers, we never did. But the new action here is making noise, but we've already done that in previous videos. I'm not going to go over in detail on how this is done. You will see it as we play along if we incorporate any of the rules such as making noise. Or hopefully we're not going to incorporate bites because I don't want to get bitten, or Brian Blake don't want to get bitten. Anyhow, that is the board game, or the table setup, I should say. This ain't a board game, tabletop game. This is the table setup for the part 3 of Prelude to WoodBury by Mantic Games. Have a seat. Let's start trying to get in there and capture some walkers. I was going to say let's kill some walkers, but we want to try to capture 4 of them as fast as possible, deposit them in the truck so that we win this scenario. Just taking a little bit of a closer look at the table, we can see where everything is set up and what we have to do. So we have Brian Blake right here, who is now the governor. That's right. Now, it's not saying specifically that he's in WoodBury, but Philip is dead, he is the leader, and he has to inspire the crew to make them want to follow him around and do his bidding. So because of that, again, the arena, he has to collect the zombies to chain them up in the arena because they love watching the fighting that's going on, especially when there's a walker chained up to add a little bit more intensity to the fight. Now you can see, let's go over where everything is at. So we have a walker right here. We have another walker here, and this walker is standing in front of a supply crate. And behind this barrier, there's a supply crate too as well. Supply crate number 3 is here, and we have a walker standing in front of it. We have a supply crate in the truck that we have to deposit the walkers in. And we also have the Mohawk zombie that you can see. Well, he's off camera, but he's right here. Let's put him on a little closer. Let's move the camera slightly. There we go. So there's the Mohawk zombie that starts right there. We've seen in the other battle reports how much of a troublemaker this Mohawk zombie is. So we want to definitely capture him to chain him up and just laugh at him. Ha ha ha! Again, we got to remember the objective is not to pick up the supply crates, but to capture 4 zombies and put them in the truck. That is the only objective that we have to complete in this scenario. Oh boy! All right. So now, the way we're going to do during the game, as you know, I'm not going to get into all the tutorial and the detail because this is the 3rd game of Prelude to WoodBury. Watch the other 2 videos if you want to catch up on to everything that's going on. So the first action that Brian is going to do is, I'm thinking he's going to create some noise. Because by creating noise, he's going to get the closest walker within 10 inches of him to shamble to him. Because again, the objective of this is to capture the walkers and put them into the truck. So Brian Blake, maybe I'll move first just so, yeah, let's do a sneak. Now, he don't have any walkers he's dragging yet, so he can actually do a run action if he wants to. But he's not going to do a run action. We're not going to do that. We are just going to do a quick sneak action. So he's going to sneak to here. That is Brian Blake's first action. Second action is he's going to create some noise. So by creating noise, the walker that is closest, you know that it's this walker right here because that guy's too far away. That walker is going to shamble in a straight line, 6 inches. So 6 inches is just, ooh, that's perfect. So because he's shambling 6 inches, that is going in base-to-base contact with Brian Blake, just like that. He shouldn't have moved first. He should have actually created noise for the walker to shamble closer. But if the walker shambled closer, he would have bumped into this car anyhow, and that's as far as it would have went. So by moving over first and creating noise, the walker is going close to him. So that is it for Brian Blake's turn. He is done. Now we're on to the event phase. At the start of the event phase, first you want to check if there's anybody in the walker's kill zone, and obviously you can tell that the walker is definitely in the kill, or Brian is definitely in the kill zone of the walker. So that is it. Now we're going to draw an event card and see what mayhem is gonna happen. Because I don't want mayhem to happen right now, but it obviously something's going to happen. Before we go on, again, I just want to take note that we're using only the event cards that have solo on them, because simply the fact is Prelude to WoodBury is a solo gameplay, and there's one player which is solo, so we only use the event solo cards. So we are having to draw the event card for this one. Let's flip it over and see what happens. We're in threat level 1, which is still all quiet, and this says the herd. You can see it there on camera. All quiet, low threat. Choose a walker and move it towards the nearest survivor. All eligible walkers within 8 inches of the chosen walker then also moves, converging on the closest walker. So that card there is a very dangerous card, but in this circumstance we want the walkers to start herding closer to us so that we can start capturing them a lot quicker. As you can see here, that I did pre-measure when the camera was turned off. I had to shuffle stuff around because, as you can tell, I'm trying a new shooting aspect of shooting the tabletop game specifically by using a tabletop tripod, and see if that's going to work any better. Like, I like using handheld. I'm probably going to go back and forth during different games plays in this one, but I'm going to try to stick with using the tabletop tripod just for this one. But anyhow, on with the game. So because of the threat that did pop up with the herd, closest walker, and it moves towards the nearest survivor. So the closest walker is this one. So he's going to shamble 6 inches, but we all know we have to do it in a straight line. So he hits the barricade, and that's as far as he stops. Now, any other walker that is within 8 inches of that walker that shambled is going to be able to shamble to as well 6 inches. So if you see here, this walker now is 8 inches away, so this walker is going to be able to shamble 6 inches. This one here, the Mohawk guy, is out of range and he's off camera. You can't see him, but that's perfectly fine. And so these two moves, they're converging on. So there's 4 walkers on the board right now, and there's nothing else that is coming on yet. So if Brian keeps the threat down low enough and he's able to successfully beat these walkers in melee, he's going to win the game pretty quick. I hope this is going to happen. He's got to show the group in the compound why he is the leader, and this is a good way of showing it. That ends the event phase, and we're on to the next phase, which is the melee phase. Now you can see that Brian is in melee with 1 walker, so because of that, the threat track will automatically be raised by 1. Now, if there was more than 1 player on the board and they were stuck in melee too as well, it don't matter how many, you still only raise the threat track up by 1. Not 1 per person in melee, but just 1 overall. So that raises that up, and now we have to do the fighting for the melee. And the stipulation of this scenario, part 3, is Brian can only defend in melee. He cannot choose to attack when he's in melee against the walkers. But on his turn, he could go up and he could start, whacking them around to knock them down. So we are on to the melee phase. So the walker, there's only 1 walker. He gets 1 red die to attack Brian, and Brian gets 2 red die for his melee. Now, he does have the kitchen knife, and it does say do wield sharp. May he reroll 1 die per melee, so he can reroll 1 die as long as he has his kitchen knife onto him, which is really good. Now, Brian also has the Beretta, but with the Beretta, it's a handgun, he can use it in melee, but he don't want to pretty much kill the walker, he just wants to knock the walker down. Now, if he uses the gun in melee, then he gets a headshot. He can ignore the headshots because it does say that into the rules, but he just wants to pretty much knock the walker prone, and that's what he's going to try to do. So 1 red die for the walker, and Brian gets 1 white die because he's going to use his Beretta, and he's also going to use his 2 red die for his defense stat on his card. Let's go to the rolling dice box and see what will happen. The walker is attacking first, so you get the 1 red die. Let's see if he gets anything. No, he gets nothing. So he does nothing to Brian. This is a good start. So again, Brian gets 2 red die for defense, and because the Beretta has the handgun in the keyword section, he can use it in close combat. So let's go. Brian, you can do this. Oh, he gets 1 hit. So therefore, he successfully whacked the walker on the back of the head. So because of that, he's going to knock the walker prone. He gets pushed back and the walker goes prone. So that is 1 walker that is down so far. This is starting to be good so far. I hope Brian will succeed. Bam! Oh, the walker gets hit in the head. Oh. So he's down. So therefore, that means that Brian gets a token right here. It is replaced by the walker, and Brian has 1 of the tokens. So he just captured 1 of the walkers. Now we have a choice to make, and that choice is simple. Or that choice is 2 options, and one of them is obviously simple because you want to play for the objective of the game. You don't want to just keep going around. Do I want to make it to the truck so that I can drop this zombie walker off into the truck? Or do I want to start trying to go around because you can see the other walker is very in close proximity to Brian? I'm not sure. I really don't know. We have to do the end phase anyhow, and which is you re-roll to try to, load your weapon. Any prone walkers that are down, you want to roll to see if they stand back up again. But the thing is that walker is prone, and we got him captured, so we don't roll for him. But if we shot a walker, for instance, and we just knocked him prone, then we'd have to roll during the end phase for that, but we're not doing that. So there's nothing really to do for this end phase, and we're going on to round number 2. Start of round number 2. What is Brian going to do? He can't run because he is dragging a walker beside him. I'm thinking we should just try to make it up to the truck and then collect the other walkers after that. So he's gonna have to do a sneak. So Brian is doing, I'm kind of on camera here, like with my hand, so I apologize, but I'm just gonna move him. Just like that. He did a sneak. This follows behind him, just like so. And that is Brian's first action. Now his second action, because he has the Beretta, should he shoot and automatically create more noise? And then if he creates noise, well, not noise, but mayhem, every walker within 10 inches will shamble towards him. That's a quick way to get the walkers onto you. But because they're in so close proximity, all the walkers, if they come in to attack him, he has so many walkers trying to bite him at once, and you don't want that. So that would be a smart idea to do, is by shooting. So for his second noise, I'm thinking I'm going to create some noise. His second action, not second noise. His second action is going to create some noise to bring another walker in close proximity to him so that he can try to destroy it, or actually knock it prone so that he can take it back for the arena fight. So that's for that. We're creating noise. I just checked this scenario special rules, and right off the hop, I did forget about something, and that is, in the event phase, after checking the kill zone, any captured walker that Brian has makes noise. But I did not do that part, Unfortunately, so because of that, from now on, from this point on, moving forward, we're going to include that special rule scenario. Sorry about that, everybody, that I forgot it, but first time playing this scenario, getting a little overwhelmed because I'm excited because I love The Walking Dead All At War by Mantic Games. On top of that, it doesn't say in the book that Brian can carry more than one walker, so I'm going to make a house rule for this. Brian's a big burly guy, but he's not that big. So I'm thinking what he's going to do is he has to drop off a walker in the truck before going out and getting another one. Again, this is a house rule. I don't know. I can't find anything into this special scenario rules that Brian can or cannot carry more than one walker at a time, but I am saying that he can't. So he has to make it to the truck with this walker. So for his second action, instead of saying, yes, I'm going to create noise, I am not going to create noise. For his second action, Brian is going to try to hold his nerve. And if he holds his nerve, the threat track will go down by 1. And for holding your nerve, as always, you take the black die, and if you roll a shield, you successfully hold your nerve. If you don't roll a shield, then nothing happens. So I'm just going to roll it. Yeah, I'll roll it off camera because the dice box is there. And we'll continue on from there. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to roll on camera. Let's go to the dice box. There's the dice box. Does he hold his nerve successfully? He does. He's got the shield. So therefore, the threat track that was on 2 goes back down to 1. Good job for you, Brian. And now we're on to the event phase. For the event phase for round 2, you check the kill zones first. And you can see that he is nowhere close to being in the kill zone for any of the walkers. So that is fine. But as soon as you check the kill zone, remember I forgot this rule at the first turn, that walker does create noise. So because that walker creates noise, the closest zombie will shamble 6 inches towards poor Brian Blake. So let's measure to see who is closer. So this here is 3 inches, and that's 4 inches. So this lady right here is going to shamble 6 inches towards Brian, and that will be more than enough for her in a straight line to get in base contact with poor Brian Blake. So he has another walker that is going to try to bite him. And where we made that house rule that he can only carry one or drag one walker at a time. If he wins in this melee combat, what's going to happen is the walker will be dropped prone. And because he can't carry more than one or drag one drag more than one walker to the truck, once he leaves that one walker behind, that walker is going to be replaced by a prone walker instead of keeping the token. So in essence, just to sum it up, if he wins this melee, that walker gets turned into another one of the tokens or the counters, such as right here. You would lay that down, so that would be 2 walkers he has. But from where I house ruled that he has to only drag 1 per time, then once he leaves that walker behind, that walker is back to prone. And then during the upkeep phase or the end phase, and you roll to see if any prone walkers stand up, that walker is not captured and it has a chance to stand back up again. That, just so that we know that to clarify this. So this scenario has become more difficult right off the hop. And it does say in the book, I'm rambling on here, I know, but I want to read this part of the book under the victory conditions. It does say, this scenario is quite a bit tougher than the previous ones and may take a few tries before you succeed. Haha, lovely. So we may be in some trouble here. But anyhow, I house ruled it, not going back on my word. It's continuing on now, so we are on to the melee part. Actually, no, we're still in the event phase. We got to draw another event card. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad for Brian, and then we're going to go on to the melee. We're on to the event card now. Event card number 2. You can see I moved the table around a bit more to give more space so that when I am moving the camera around on my handy dandy tripod, tabletop tripod, which I love very much, that my lovely wife has got me for Christmas. Thank you very much, Shelley. Now, this is the event card that I just drew. It is Pandemonia. So number 1, the threat track goes up 1. So it goes up 1, plus because we were in melee, when we get to the melee phase, we're going to have to raise the threat track up 1 more. So Pandemonia tells us, all quiet. We are in all quiet still. Roll a white die and move that many eligible walkers towards the nearest survivor. That is all I have to do for that one. So I got to roll a white die and see what the heck is going to happen to poor Brian Blake. Here goes the white die. Not on camera. There we go. That many eligible walkers moved closer to Brian Blake. And we rolled a 1. So because of that, 1 eligible walker moves closer to Brian Blake, I should say. Now we're going to have to move 1 eligible walker that is going to go closer to Brian Blake. And when it says eligible, they cannot be in combat, and they have to be within 10 inches. So I need one of them, but it don't specify that it has to be the one that's closest, as long as one of them within 10 inches. And that's what I'm going to do, because if I move this walker right here, as you can see, he can only shamble in a straight line, so he's going to go up this way. Or the one that's the Mohawk zombie, that's a troublemaker here. I'm thinking I'm probably going to move him instead of the other one. If he's within the 10 inches, and he is, he's like 6 inches away, so I'm going to move the Mohawk zombie. The reason why I'm chosen to do the Mohawk zombie is they have to shamble within a straight line. So that's a straight line. So this Mohawk zombie is going, oh, I stubbed my toe. He hits a barricade and you can't move any further. That is right. And that ends the event phase. I'm still recording. Pause, pause, pause. On to the melee. So because Brian is in melee now with the lady walker, the threat track automatically goes up, so it's going up to 3 now. So 1 more and we'll be in low threat. Brian is going, looks like he's gonna, now I can see how much difficulty this mission is, because it is proving to be very, very difficult. Just as before, the walker is attacking with 1 red die. Maybe that white went over there. And Brian is defending with 2 red base defense and the white from his handgun. Now, first off, the walker got 1 hit. All right, so let's see what Brian can do with that 1 hit. Oh, look at that. Brian got 2 hits. Now, just say that Brian only got the 1 success. Now, survivors always win ties. But if he rolled all 3 blanks, he has the kitchen knife that he can do a re-roll. But he didn't have to. So he successfully was able to defend against that walker. So the walker is pushed back 1 inch and dropped down to the ground and become prone. But unfortunately, because Brian already has 1 walker because we house rolled this, I'm thinking to myself, that was a stupid idea that you had. But we're sticking with it. So because of that, Brian is going to drop that 1 walker prone, and he's still able to carry on and drag the 1 walker with him to get to the truck. Whew, Brian, you're just lucky so far. Oh. I'm not even going to replace that walker with one of the tokens, because Brian cannot carry her as well. So she just stays prone right now. So that was the end of the melee, and now we're going to do the end phase. So end phase, the only thing that we have to do for the end phase of this is see if that prone walker stands up that he just knocked down. Let's see if this walker is going to stand up. So on a badge, the walker stands up. And blanko! That walker is still prone. That's a good thing, because if that walker stays prone, then Brian is going to be able to go back because he's close to the truck. He's going to be able to go back after depositing the first walker and potentially pick that walker up if the walker don't stand up on the next turn. Whew. So that ends this turn. We're on to turn 3. Before we continue on with the next round, you're going to notice that a lot of these camera angles, because it is on a tripod, it's a little not level. It's a little skewed. It's got a little bit of a tilt to it, and the reason why is I'm purposely doing that because I'm just thinking, trying to add a little bit more cinematic intensity to the game by giving this little bit of a tilt with the camera. Now, in the film production, because as everybody knows, I worked in the film industry for about 21, 22 years. This type of thing that we're doing is called a Dutch tilt. So we're just slightly giving it a little bit of a tilt, adding a little more interesting shot to it. So if you don't like it, sorry, but get over it because I'm keeping on doing it. Anyhow, we're on to the next turn. You know, Brian, he can't run. So this is the only thing that makes things a little bit difficult for Brian. But he's going to be able to sneak his 4 inches. You know, does he want to sneak 4 inches, or does he want to go up to the supply deck and pick it up? Because he may have something else that will help him. So he can sneak, and then after he sneaks, he can try to find something into the search thing. And I think that's what he's going to do instead of trying to deposit the walker right away, because Brian wants to grab some supplies too as well. So the reason why Brian wants to do this, because when he goes back to the compound, he has all of these walkers. He has the 4 walkers captured so he can chain up in the arena. Plus, he's bringing back supplies for the community. They're going to be like, this is the best governor we ever had. We love you, Brian Blake. We love you. And that's what he's doing. So he's going up to here. That's it for his first action. Second action is he's picking it up, and he's going to find something into the supply deck. Hopefully, just hopefully, it's going to be something that is worthwhile and he didn't waste his time, and it's not going to be a stinking lurker. And you know what lurkers are? They just jump out of the, he's like, surprise! I was hiding behind the supply crate. Now I'm going to eat your brains. All right, supply deck. Let's see what we got. Ooh, it's a Burning Brand melee weapon. Flaming. This item may not be stored in a survivor pack. Oh, that is not a good thing that it can't be stored, because I have the knife, which is really powerful for reroll. I got the gun, but this is tough because it's going to create fire. I can set a walker on fire, and he's going to, you know, take more damage, but I don't want to kill the walker though. I have to think about this one because this is a tough one. This is a pretty cool melee weapon to have, but it may not work in this scenario. Just looking at this, the keyword is flaming, or flammable is another one. I'm just looking at the keywords. That's right, to try to figure this out. And what it tells me here is place a fire token on any walker hit by melee. Does not affect survivors. Walkers gain a +1 red die for each that is on fire. So if the walker's in melee that is on fire, he gets an extra red die to attack me because he can potentially burn me or burn the survivors. Walkers can catch fire by walking through flames. Objects on fire. So if a walker is walking through an object that is on fire, so you know, the walker can catch on fire too as well. So it'll be a ball of flames for everything. During the end phase, roll a black die. If you get a shield, the walker is prone and the fire token is removed. So it does work a little bit in benefit, but I'm thinking it's more of a benefit if you are playing against another team of survivors, because then you can potentially create more damage by other walkers going after them that are on fire. So because of that, I am opting to just not take this. It is just discard it, just like that. I had to find out to see if it would benefit, but I don't think it's going to benefit Brian. So that is the end of Brian's turn. and we are on to the event phase. For the event phase, first thing you do is you're going to check the kill zones, and the other walker, you can see he's off camera, he's over this way, but that he's way too far away. And then we have the Mohawk troublemaking walker right here, but again, Brian is not anywhere close, and you can't check the kill zone for this prone walker. So there's nothing in the kill zone, but unfortunately, the walker that Brian is dragging is making noise, so the threat track, the noise track, don't go up anything further, but the closest walker is going to try to come in and attack Brian. So the closest walker, obviously, is the Mohawk zombie. And he is eligible, so he is going to shamble 6 inches, and that shambling is going to get him, boom, right in base contact. Geez, now if Brian wins this melee combat too as well, that walker becomes prone, so there's going to be 2 walkers that are laying down on the asphalt, prone, where Brian can come back and pick them up if they don't stand up on the event phase. So let's go on to the combat for this. Hopefully Brian's going to be successful again by knocking this Mohawk zombie to the ground. Alrighty, first the walkers die. He gets a success of 1. So now Brian has to either get 1 or higher, and because he has the handgun, he gets the white die, but his original base defense is 2. So let's say Brian gets 2. So that means Brian won the melee combat, and that walker, the troublesome Mohawk walker, gets knocked to the asphalt to suck some dirt. Eat dirt, walker! He's down. Just like that. Brian, you're a machine. You're a monster. You know what? If I was able to, I'd go behind you and massage your shoulders right now because you're doing incredible. Keep up the work. Wah, wah, wah. So we're on to the end phase now, and again, we have to roll not once, but twice for the prone walkers. Walker number 1, which is the lady walker. Let's see if she stands up. Oh. Lady walker stands up where she's at, and let's do the Mohawk troublesome walker. You better stay down, Mohawk, because I don't like you. Oh no, he stands up too, so the two prone walkers stand up. This is horrible! Rickin'. Hi, Brian, I'm coming for you. My Mohawk zombie, my Mohawk's gonna get you next time, Brian. So they stand back up again. And that ends the end phase. Now we're on to the next turn, and it's going to be Brian deciding what is he going to do. And we know what he's going to do. Oh, he has to at least sneak up again to get that truck to drop that zombie off, or the walker off, so that he can start doing more. Now, I'm so tempted to just take my Beretta 82 and just start shooting to kill the walkers, but I can't because I need to capture them to take them back for the arena fight. See how much I'm fighting with myself and just, you know, beating myself up because I want to do one thing, but I know I can't. I have to do the other thing. Anyhow, it's on to Brian Blake's 2 actions. Alrighty. First turn, first thing Brian's going to do is he is going to do his sneak of 4 inches so that he can go, oh, wait a minute here. It looked a little bit more than 4 inches, but Brian actually successfully is up to the truck. That is awesome. Now, for Brian's second action, he is going to deposit the walker in the truck, just like that. So that's 1 walker down. Now, one thing it does say in the book is that when you put one of the walkers in the back of the truck, well, it's on the hood, but it don't on the roof, but it don't make a difference just because this thing is here. But we'll move it. We'll put the walker right here and we'll just put that right here. Anyhow, once you do this, that walker can no longer make noise on the event phase. So that's a good thing, and it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing because that means Brian has to get 3 more walkers and repeat the whole process. But a good thing is the walkers are closer to Brian, so we don't have to go as far. Staying on this camera angle because we're onto the event phase. And the first thing that we do in the event phase is check the kill zones. The Mohawk Troublesome Zombie, which I keep saying is troublesome, and you're going to see why right now, because check the kill zone. Yeah, he is in the kill zone. So he goes, huh! You knocked me down, but now I come back and I get you. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. Ah! So he attacks him. Oh, so he's in base-to-base contact. But it could be a good thing here because Brian could knock him down. And then when he knocks him down, he's already at the truck, so we can pretty much put that troublesome Mohawk zombie into the back of the truck. Second part of the event phase is drawing an event card. Oh, please don't be anything really bad because we're doing pretty good. Oh, so first off, threat track goes up to 1, so that means that the threat track now is in low threat. Now we have to read the low threat part, which is right here, and it does state, move 1 eligible walker towards the nearest survivor. That's not too bad. You know, eligible walker, again, like I said, they can't be in combat with anybody, and they have to be within the 10-inch mark. So let's go to the table and look to see what happens. But that is it. That's not too bad at all. I'm not going to complain. That was really good. As you can see, the only eligible walker. Oh, this is I think it's good, but it's not good. So within 10 inches for the eligible walker. He's 10 inches. She's in 10 inches. But the problem is the shamble, 6 inches, would bring that walker in close proximity to Brian, which means that he gets hit with more dice. This is not a good thing, so we have to think of this and play it as safe as possible. And the way that we're going to do this is we are going to get the further zombie, which is 10 inches away. It is eligible, because don't say you have to pick the closest one, it's just an eligible walker. He is going to shamble, old green Baldy here is going to shamble 6 inches up towards Brian, because I have to try to keep this as common and as simple as possible so that Brian can try to win this and get back to the compound. So their 6-inch mark is right where the yellow line is. Straight line, bam, right there. And that is where that walker goes. That is the end of the event phase, and now we are on to the melee phase. Now with the melee phase, we're in combat, so therefore the threat track gets moved up 1 more, so we are in low threat number 5. And now we have to do the melee combat yet again. Brian has been successful up to this point without melee, so hopefully he's going to continue to do that. Let's go to the rolling box and see what happens. Dice rolling box. Here we go. Red die for the walkers. 1 success. Let's see if Brian can do that again. He's doing the same thing. And he gets 3. Oh, he totally passed that, no problem. So that troublesome Mohawk zombie gets knocked down prone. But this means that now I can collect him because he has gone prone. Brian won the melee. Oh, be quiet, you zombie. Bam. Knocks down just like that. And on top of that, Brian got another zombie that he can take now. That's number 2. We need 2 more after this. This is good. Brian is in good shape. Keep it up, Brian. You're doing awesome. That ends the melee phase. Now we are on to the end phase, and there's nothing to do here because there's no prone walkers. We don't have to see if we get ammo back or whatever. So because of that, we're on to the next turn. And we already know what's going to happen in this next turn. Brian, buddy old pal, is going to go, number 1, deposit the walker just like that. So that's 2 in the back of the truck. 2 more to go. Now his second turn, he's going to try to hold his nerve because Brian's nerve rating is medium. We are at low threat number 5, so we're getting closer to the medium. And then if we get to the medium threat or surpass the medium, Brian's going to have to start doing panic checks to see if he don't panic and some really bad effects are going to happen to him. So we have to try to keep this threat track down. For Brian's second action then, he is going to do none other than try to hold his nerve. We need a shield here for the Brian's successful hold his nerve for a second action. And it is going to be blank. So he failed to hold his nerve. That is not a good thing at all. But, you know, we try. That's it. Continuing on. I do have some very, very sad news here. Super sad. Because this one rule in the solo mission, this is what separates the solo, one of the main things to separate the solo from if you're playing the core box set for The Walking Dead All Out War by Mantic Games. And that is at the end of every end phase. Again, that was turn 3. We're on turn 4. Now, we're supposed to move the threat track up by 1. So I have to, unfortunately, this is really sad, move the threat track up, not 1, not 2, but 3. Because I totally forgot about that rule. But I'm catching it on camera, so everything is okay for the rules for the game, but everything is not so good for Brian because, as you can see, we're at threat track number 8. Oh, this game is getting very, very tough. I can understand more and more now with that little victory blurb into the book that you may have to play this a couple of times. On to the event phase. First thing in the event phase is going to be to check the kill zones. This is the closest walker, and he is not in the zone, so Brian is okay for that. Second thing is, if Brian didn't deposit that walker, it would have made noise, drawing them closer, but it don't have that. So now we have to draw an event card for this, and hopefully, just hopefully, it's not going to be that bad. Like, raise the threat track up again, because Brian's nerve rating is medium. So once we pass the nerve rating, he's going to get a panic die, and I don't want that because I did that before and it turned out very bad for my character. Event card time. It is, oh my, this is really bad. The Walking Dead. First off, you raise the threat track up to +2, you can see right here. So the threat track goes from 8 to 10, so we are definitely close in the middle of the medium threat. So that's not good. And we read the medium threat, and it's 2 blue dice. So walkers enter play and are then each moved towards the nearest survivor. So I take 2 blue red die, I roll it. How many pips I get is going to determine how many walkers enter play, and then they move to the closest survivor. And the only survivor is Brian right now. So this is looking very grim, very, very grim for Brian. Let's do the dirty work. Here goes 2 blue die. Oh, please get, like, there's no blanks on these die, but please just get 1 each, so the only 2 walkers. Oh, my wishes came true. Yeah, that's right. So that's 2, only 2 walkers are gonna come and enter play, but I get to choose where the walkers enter play at, and I'm gonna choose from the furthest distance away. Well, I don't know if I should. Maybe I'm gonna choose one closer and then one at a distance. So there's more dead meat on the board, so it's more of a chance so that Brian can just gather the other 2 walkers and end this game. Let's move them. Lovely, 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 lovely. All right, so where are these walkers going to go? These dead meat bags gonna go. Again, I want it one closer and one further away, but I don't want them too close. So let's see the first walker right here. He's, eating some flesh that he just, found some other poor survivor and started chowing down. I'm gonna put him, he's you can't see. I'm going to put him right here. Well, you can kind of see his base, so he's far away. But no, I'm going to move him to there. So he's off camera, he's in the corner over here. Now the second one, I want to put in a little closer, but not too close. Because these two walkers for Brian, the camera's out of focus there because of the lamp pole. Let's move the lamp pole here for a second. There we go, we're back in focus. So again, the one walker is there. We have two walkers here. And the other walker, I want him close, but not that close. And it's got to be on, you know, like the edge of the table. Where am I going to put him? You know what? Let me place this walker, table edge right there. That's where it is. So since we do that, then they automatically move closer to Brian. So they're going to shamble 6 inches. This walker is going to shamble. You know what? I'm going to make him go and bump right into there because they move in a straight line. There you go. He hit. And the one off camera is going to go with a 6-inch shamble. Brian. So he's shambling right here. I don't think that was a good placement of them walkers, but you know what? Too late now. The show must go on, and Brian must catch more walkers and bring them and put them in the truck so that he can go and show the people of Woodbury why he's the governor. On to the melee part of the round. There's nothing in melee, so nothing happens. No threat track goes up. No nothing. So we're on to the end phase. There's no prone walkers. And that's it for the turn. We're on to the next round. But we have to remember the threat track has to go up 1. So it is now on medium threat level number 11. Oh boy, this is going to cause some havoc because we're almost, all we need to do is get 3 more and we're in the high threat level, and that means that Brian is going to have to roll the panic die before he does anything to see if anything happens to him that's really bad. I don't want to do any panic stuff. So Brian has to really be careful here. Really careful. Anyhow, let's go on to the next round with poor Brian Blake. First action that Brian is going to do is, you guessed it, he's going to try to hold his nerve. I'm just going to roll it here. Why not? Instead of moving it to the rolling box. And he fails at holding his nerve. Oh no, that sucks. So for Brian's second action, he is going to make some noise. So the closest zombie within the 10 inches that is eligible is going to shamble to 6 inches. And you can see this one here is roughly 6 inches away. This one is only 4. So the green baldy is going to go, and he's going up and he is in melee combat with Brian. Because again, remember, Brian is racing against the threat track clock right now. He has 2 out of the 4. And because when we go to the melee phase, the threat track is going to raise up again. And also on top of that, when we draw the event card, we may have the threat track increase again. So again, Brian is on a very, very, very strict timeline here. This is not looking good for him at all. Let's go on to the event phase. For the event phase, you can see that there's no zombies or walkers. That is kill zone. So you can see none except for that, but he is not eligible. He is already in melee combat with Brian. So next, we are going to draw the event card, which I'm going to do off camera and just show you. And I just grabbed it, and it is none other than distracted. There's no plus threat, so that's a good thing, but we are in medium threat. So it does say roll a white die and move that many eligible walkers in the direction of your choice. So that is of my choice. So I can move them away from poor Brian if I want to. But let's roll the white die and see if he's going to get lucky. Let's roll that white die to see how many eligible walkers will move closer to Brian. Oh, look at that. It's blank. That's right. That means no eligible walkers move closer to Brian. That's a good thing, but it's a bad thing too as well, because again, the objective is to deposit him in the truck. He's right by the truck. So if they move closer, he'd be able to pick them up quicker and not have to sneak because of the weight of the dragging the walkers behind him. But anyhow, that's where we're at. On to the melee. You know, because we are in melee combat right now, the threat track moves up 1 again, so it goes up to 12. We are 2 away from the high threat level, because once we hit 14, we're in high threat level, and Brian has to do a panic die check for every time he's going to activate. And I don't like that at all. So let's do the melee for this again. And hopefully Brian is going to knock that green baldy on his butt onto the asphalt and eat some dirt. Melee for the walker first. He gets a blanco, so nothing happens. But Brian, remember, he gets the 2 red and the white. You can do it. He gets 1. So he does successfully knock the poor bald green walker on his butt onto the asphalt to suck up some dirt. Shablam. That's right, that's the sound of Brian cracking him with his gun. Oh, he drops. So because he drops, guess what? There's another token. This is looking pretty good, but bad at the same time, because the threat track is very close to going up more. So that ends the melee phase, and we are into the end phase. In the end phase, there's no prone walkers that got to stand up, no reload, no nothing. So unfortunately, we have to move the threat track up by 1. So it is on lucky number 13, medium threat level. Now we're on to the next turn for Brian. On Brian's next turn, the first thing he's doing is he is none other than taking the zombie and throwing him in the back of the truck. You're probably saying, like, look at this, the supply counter. Why aren't you trying to search it? I'm not searching it because I need to drop that threat level down. And also on top of that, there could be a lurker there. But the lurker wouldn't be too bad because that'll be my 4th and last one that I need to put in the truck. But I can't do that. I have to try to drop the threat level down because, again, I don't want the panic dice to trigger. So because of that, I'm just going to roll it here again. Please give me a shield. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, it's a shield. That's right. So the threat track gets dropped down to 12 from 13. Good job, Brian. But now we are onto the event phase, and the only thing we're going to do is draw the event card. You know, unfortunately, we could get another increase of threat track. If it does at least increase it by 2, Brian's in trouble on his next turn because he has to do the panic die. I'm actually a little nervous to pick this next event card up because I don't want it to be another plus threat track. My wife Shelly is sitting in the computer chair and she's crocheting, and she kind of gave me this look that, like, it's only a game, relax. But the thing is it's not only a game. This is a life and death situation, Shelly. You gotta understand, I don't want this panic die. She's speechless, she won't say it. Because she's counting, because she's crocheting. Let's go. Distracted! That's the same one that we just had. But I'm not shuffling them, because there's no threat track. We are in medium threat. Again, roll the white dice and move that many eligible walkers in the direction of your choice. Oh boy, I'm breathing a little sigh of relief here because there's no other raise in the threat track. So let's go to the rolling dice for this, roll the white die, and see if there's any walkers that are going to move, but they can move in the direction of my choice. Now, I do want to say something that I do remember into the rules book for this. I didn't have to explain it last time when we got this card because we rolled blank. But if we do roll any pip on the dice besides being blank, because this is a solo mission, according to the rules in the book, you have to move the walkers to your sole survivor. So we have to keep that in mind. But that's not a bad thing though, because all we need is one more walker to win this game, to get him thrown in the back of the truck. So let's go to the rolling dice box and see what happens. Here goes. White die. Roll, 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 roll! Oh, it's blank again. I think my luck, or Brian Blake's luck, is running out very quickly. So we're done at the event phase. We're on to the melee. There's nothing in melee you've seen from the board. And then we're on to the end phase. There's no prone walkers. So we are back to Brian Blake's turn. Brian Blake's turn. The first thing he's going to do is he's going to create some noise. Now, I did measure before I started recording. These are further away from him. He is the one, but he already hit the barricade for his next turn. So he's going to actually do a shamble, and he's able to go around the barricade now. So it's 6 inches. When you measure it, it's going to be 2 inches this way. Whoop. And then 4 more inches will bring him in base-to-base contact with Brian. Right there. All right, so this could be the last zombie that this is potentially the last zombie that we need to throw in the back of the truck if we win a melee combat onto our turn. So that was his first action. Now, the second action. Oh, I know what I'm doing my second action. Why am I even second guessing this? And that is, I'm going to hold my nerve. I was thinking I'm picking this up, and then I was thinking too as well, as I grab this and it's going to be a lurker, and then that would be not a good thing, because that will be 2 walkers against Brian, and I don't want that. So we're going to try to hold this nerve. I'm going to roll it right here. We need a shield. Let's do this. You can do it. And look what I rolled. Guess what I rolled, Shelly? Blank or shield. Shield means that you drop the threat track. Blank means you don't drop it. The tracker, you mean the threat track? Okay, so that means I would have rolled a shield, and you were correct. So therefore, the threat track goes from medium 12 to medium 11. This is starting to look a little bit brighter. The clouds are parting in the sky. The sun is starting to shine through to reveal all of the dead bodies that the walkers have been eating. So there is a silver lining in this cloudy, apocalyptic walker world. And that is, don't eat tainted meat. That is the silver lining. All right, so that was his second action. Now we're onto the event phase. We don't have to check the kill zones because we know that it is only that one. So now we do an event card, and then we're going to go on to the melee. The event I'm not so worried about right now because we are still medium threat at 11, unless we have an event card that says +4 to the threat track, but hopefully that's not going to happen. I don't know if that card even exists, but we'll see. Let's go and draw the card. Here we go. The event card. Please make it not +4. +1 to the threat track. But that's all right. So it goes from 11 to 12. I'm going to shift that right now. And now let's read this card. Low, medium, high threat. We are in medium, so this is going to apply. The tension reaches fever pitch. Add 1 to the threat level. What? So we got to add another 1 to the threat level. So it's going to go up to 13. So we are 1 away from the high threat. But I'm seeing kind of in the future, and that's a bad thing, and I'll explain in a second. Anyhow, add 1 to the threat level. Immediately draw 2 more event cards. Apply the results 1 at a time. That card sucks! So we are definitely going into the high threat level, guaranteed. And the reason why I say that is even if we draw the event cards, 2 more of them, and they don't have a threat level, we're in melee combat, and you're going to go up in melee combat yet again. So let's draw the other 2. I don't like this at all. So first one, stay down. All right, so there's no threat level though, and we are still in medium. And it does say, as low threat, in addition, roll 1 blue die, move that many eligible walkers towards the nearest survivor. As low threat. So for the low threat, for each prone walker, roll a shield on the black die. Shield, the walker gets up. If there are no prone walkers, add 1 to the threat level. Are you kidding me? So now we're in high threat level. That means that Brian, unfortunately, is going to have to do his panic test. Hopefully he's not going to run away from where the truck is when he rolls the panic die. But we will see. We will see. And we also have to roll the blue die and move that many elbow walkers towards the nearest survivor. Let's do that first before we draw the next event card. I'm not pleased with this at all. Poor Brian Blake. We're so close. All right, blue die roll. Of course it could. Of course it rolled that. That's 3 eligible walkers. There's only 2 on the board. That is not close to Brian Blake, but that would probably mean that unless they're over 10 inches away, both of them are going to shamble, and he may be cornered. So on his turn, he's going to, number 1, roll the panic die, and number 2, he is going to be attacked by 3 zombies, 3 zombie walkers, and the problem with that is there's going to be an oodle amount of red die going to fly at him. So let's move the walkers and then draw the second event card. This is turning out to be very horrible. I put my foot in my big mouth and saying it don't look too bad. I counted my chickens before they hatched. I just measured off camera and both of them are eligible, so both of them move a shamble of 6 inches. So the lady one shambles up and she is none other than right attacking Brian Blake. Now the next one, 6-inch shamble, he is away. But he's very close. He's very close to Brian Blake, but he's not on top of him to attack. So therefore, it's still bad. Who am I kidding? It's still freaking bad. I really don't want to draw this next card. I don't like this at all. Well, I love the game. I love how it plays. I'm being very overdramatic right now. Theater School 101. Thank you very much. All right, second one. The Herd. I think we've seen this one before. Medium, high, as low threat. In addition, all prone walkers immediately stand up. There's no prone walkers. But let's see what it says about the low threat. Choose a walker and move it towards the nearest survivor. All eligible walkers within 8 inches of that chosen walker then also moves converging on the chosen walker. So that just simply means that poor Brian is going to have none other than the 3 walkers attacking him at the same stinking time. That was a huge event phase. Now we're on to the melee part of the phase. So the threat track, which is already in high of 14, is going to go up to 15 because they were in melee. And I forgot to move this zombie walker close to Brian. So now Brian is going to be attacked by not 1, not 2, but 3 walkers in a row. Poor Brian is shaking in his boots and crapping his pants. And the reason why is because when you look at this chart that I'm going to show you that's in the book, you'll understand why. So let's bring this down. It's in focus a little glary, but you can see 1 walker gets 1 red die. 2 walkers get 3 red die. 3 walkers get 6 red die. 4 walkers 10, 5 and 15. So therefore there's 3 walkers surrounding poor Brian. So they get 6 red die to attack Brian. This is horrible. Like 6 red die. Brian's definitely going to take some wounds here now. He was lucky so far. Oh goodness, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a bite. So Brian gets 5 bites, or 5 hits, plus he also gets a bite. Now, Brian got a roll here, and we have to take away whatever he rolls from the results. Because if we didn't roll anything right now, that means that Brian just lost all of his health. Bam, just like that on one stinking turn. But you get 2 red and the white. Come on, Brian, you can do this. All right, so 2. He gets 2. So therefore, he only gets 3 wounds, but he's bitten. Now, the way the bitten works too as well is on his next turn, he's going to have to roll the black die. If he gets a shield, the infection does not spread and take another wound on him. But if he rolls a blank one, that means that the infection is spreading and he takes another wound. So right now, Brian is getting dropped down from 5 wounds. I think he starts with, if I'm not mistaken, it is. And you take 3 away from that, plus the bite mark. So he is going to go down to 2 wounds. That is hurting him very bad. Now I can choose to roll. Oh, wait a minute. I'm forgetting something. He has a leather jacket, which is the body armor. Discard to ignore all damage from a single round of melee. So guess what? Brian takes no damage whatsoever. Just to show you, right there, leather jacket, armor, body. Discard to ignore all damage from a single round of melee. Oh boy. I'm glad I thought of that, because that just, Brian didn't crap his pants. Maybe peed a little bit, but he didn't crap his pants because he knew he had this leather jacket to absorb some of the damage, or all of the damage, so all of the walkers could not bite through the leather and it did nothing to him, but the jacket's no more good to him. And because of that, the walkers are going to be pushed back 1 inch. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Because of that, the walkers again are being pushed back 1 inch each. So, and as before, Mantic Games made it very handy that the width of the ruler is actually 1 inch. So let's move them back out 1 inch, shall we? Just like this. Because Brian cannot be pushed back any further, and you can't end your melee turn staying in base-to-base contact. So because of that, the walkers are pushed back 1 inch each. So that wasn't too bad. I'm glad that, Mantic Games was like, hey, Brian's gonna have a leather jacket at the beginning of this 3rd and final tutorial mission in the book for Prelude to WoodBury. Very close. Very, very close. Thank you very much, Mantic Games, for adding that leather jacket, because it saved his butt. That ends the melee phase. So Brian just lucked out by the skin of his leather jacket. You thought I was going to say skin of his teeth, but no, it's the skin of his leather jacket. He survived this onslaught of all the walkers, but there's still something that we have to do because we are into the end phase. No prone walkers. So we have to raise the threat track up yet 1 more. So we go from 15 to 16. So now we are 2 away from Brian running out of time and losing this scenario. I do not like that at all. I do not like green eggs and ham. Green eggs and ham I do not like. All right, anyhow, so that ends the end of that turn. We're on to the next turn, and it is on to Brian. Now Brian, because he has a medium nerve level, he has to do a panic die check. And that is because the threat track is up too high. Let's go to the rolling dice box and let's do the panic check for poor Brian Blake. I don't think I've ever done a panic check before on the channel live video. I did off camera, but not on camera. But panic die is the yellow die. You can see here it has different symbols. And I'll roll it and then we'll see what it is. And Brian will do whatever it is accordingly. Oh, we got like an axe and a gun symbol. And that axe and gun symbol stands for Berserk. Act normally and add red to melee attack. +1 threat. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. So that means that the threat track is going up 1 more. And I act normally because I'm in Berserk mode, but I get to add a +1 red die to the melee attack. So it works out good for Brian in one sense that he gets 3 red die and 1 white die when he's in the melee. But it's bad because the threat track goes up 1, which means we're now at threat track number 17 on it. So that means, I'm talking like a robot now because I really don't like what this is. We're 1 away from losing the game. Our time is going to run out. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we're on to Brian's turn. Now, this is definitely a race against the clock because he needs to only put 1 more zombie in the back of the truck. Only 1 more zombie. That's it. I don't know what poor Brian's gonna do here. Gotta really think hard. Try and fix what's going on. So we're on to the next turn, which is Brian. If he stays where he's at, he's gonna be attacked again by all 3 zombies. Plus, the threat track is gonna go up 1 more because he's gonna be in melee, so he has to get the heck out of dodge. He can run now because he don't have any zombies attached to him or walkers that he's dragging. So I may run, but if he runs, then it's going to create noise, which means that, actually that might work even better because then the closest zombie within 10 inches is going to come after him. And that's what he wants, really. He wants to separate the zombies. But if he comes after him and he gets in melee, that means the threat track is going to go up to the last one of 18 and he runs out of time. So I don't think running is a good idea. Because even if he runs away, which is 8 inches, well actually, it's pre-measure, so if he runs away 8 inches, you don't have to run in a straight line. He can go around the truck and it's going to create noise, and then one of the zombies are going to try to run up to him, but they're going to hit the truck. That might even work. It's going to extend it a bit to give him more of a breathing space so he can figure this out more. I really, honestly, I'm not 100% sure what to do here. I have to really think about this one. After carefully thinking on what to do, unfortunately, because this is the solo mission, no matter what Brian does, he's not going to win this round. Because on his turn, if he runs away, it's going to make noise, and then one of the walkers is going to come up close to him. So that would be running is 1 action, second action, he's going to, oh, no. I forgot about holding my nerve. This is all, holy smokes, this is all teetering on if Brian is going to hold his nerve or not. Because if he runs away for his first action, it's going to create noise. So then the closest zombie within 10 inches is going to come up to him. And then for his second action, he could try to hold his nerve, knock the threat track down 1, so it will go back down to 16. And he'll be in base-to-base contact with a walker, because a walker is probably going to be close enough to him. And on top of that, that's going to, on the melee turn, increase the threat track by 1. But see, if we grab another event card and it says increase the threat track, we're screwed. So either way, I think Brian is stuck. He's not going to do anything, but we're going to try it anyhow. So for Brian's action, the first thing he's going to do is he is going to do none other then try to hold his nerve. So everything of this game is teetering on if he's going to be able to hold his nerve successfully or not. Oh, this is nerve-wracking. So I'm going to try to roll the dice right here. Please, Brian, please hold your nerve. Oh, he did! He held his nerve. He got a shield. So the threat track goes from 17 to 16. Not too bad, Brian, not too bad. So far, you're still in the game. So the second thing he's going to do is should he run or should he only sneak 4 inches? Because if he sneaks 4 inches, he's going to be in the kill zone. No, I'm going to run him. I have no choice but to run him because that's going to bring me, like, it's an 8-inch run. So it's going to bring me down the hair. It's kind of off camera a little bit, but you know, he's actually, that's not even 8 inches, that's only 6 inches. He's going to go right by the barricade. Now, it's off camera, I got it on tripod, but you can see that's the full 8 inches for the run. So because he ran, you know, the closest zombie is going to be able to shamble 6 inches, and that zombie is the guy that was eating everything. And he shambles 6 inches. So when he shambles, he's going to hit that barricade. Whoops, I hit the barricade and moved it. So he runs into that barricade. So that's not too bad, because now he's not in melee with him. That was Brian's turn. That ends his action. So he successfully held his nerve, dropped the threat track down, and then he ran, which caused one of the zombies to run after him, but ran into a barricade. So I think we may potentially be still in good shape, unless the next event card that we draw increases the threat level by 3. Because we're on 16 and, no, by 2. Because 18 is mean you're dead, or you ran out of time. Oh my God, my nerves, they're shot. I know it's a game. Shelly's sitting over there just, you know, crocheting away and thinking how crazy I am, but it's a game, I know, but it's a very intense game. Let's go on now to the event phase. As you can see, there is no walkers close enough in the closest proximity so that Brian would be in the kill zone. But again, this guy, because of the barricade, you can see he is far away from him. So that is good. The next thing is to draw the dreaded event card. Now, the first decision, it was teetering on, you know, holding his nerve, which he succeeded. So now this game is teetering onto the event card. Let's draw the event card. This is it. This is for all of the marbles. Hopefully, nothing that's going to be too dangerous. I really don't want to look at this. Shelly, can you look at this and read it? No, never mind. I'll do it. Oh, roamers, there's no threat thing, but I don't know what it says because we're in high threat. So high threat, 2 blue dice and move that many eligible walkers toward the nearest survivor. Then walkers enter play by rolling 1 blue die. This is not too bad because it's going to bring the walkers close to me, and then more walkers are going to enter in. So we got to roll 2 blue die and move that many eligible walkers towards the nearest survivor. Then roll 1 blue die and that many walkers enter play. Let's go to the rolling dice box and see what that is. All right, first 2 blue die, that many eligible walkers move. 4 pips. So 4 walkers get to move closer to Brian Blake, but they have to be within 10 inches. And on top of that, they have to be 4 of them, but there's only 3 on the board. So the 3 of them will move if they're within 10 inches. Let's go to the board and take a look. There you see where they're all positioned. So I know he's within 10 inches. She is probably within 10 inches too as well. Yep. And so is he. So they all get to shamble 6 inches because they're all eligible. So I know he will shamble all the way to poor Brian. So Brian is in melee combat again, and it's going to raise the threat track up again. I think that the game is lost now. So 6-inch shamble, bam. 6-inch shamble, bam. So therefore, the two of them hit the barricade. There's only one that is in base-to-base contact with poor Brian Blake right now to attack. So that ends the event phase. Oh no, we have to roll one more blue die to have that many more walkers come on the board. I'm just rolling it off camera. 2. So 2 more walkers are going to enter the gameplay. And I'm just going to take the troublesome Mohawk zombie again, or walker I should say. So where am I going to move them to? I'm going to put one... No, I'm going to put one, the Mohawk zombie, on the off-camera corner so you cannot see. The other zombie is going to go up in this corner right here. So therefore, they are away from Brian Blake. So that ends the event. We're onto the melee. And the threat track again is going up to 17, which is right here. We are 1 away, but the game is lost. The reason why the game is lost is because of that nice little rule that I keep forgetting about, but I try to rectify the situation. That is, at the end of the turn, the threat track goes up by 1. And that's going to hit the 18, which means time is running out for Brian Blake. Anyhow, we're still going to roll. I know the game is over. Brian Blake has lost. He was unsuccessful in taking the walkers back to the compound to chain them up for the arena. But it don't mean that Brian Blake is bitten and died. He just failed with his mission. Anyhow, let's do the rolling and see what happens with this combat between the zombie and Brian Blake. Alrighty, so 1 red die for the walker, and he gets 1 success. Brian gets a 2 red and white. Watch Brian be able to knock him down prone though, at least. Oh, look! 3 hits and a headshot, but again, when you're doing the melee, you don't have to count the headshots to kill the walker. So he didn't kill the walker. He just knocked him prone, which means that Brian Blake picks up the last token. Wham! He got him. That means Brian Blake, thank you very much. He gets that. He's gone. So that ends the melee phase, and we're on to the end phase. There's nothing else to do besides cry. Because I'm just gonna zoom back out here. Oh, I'll be back in a second. I gotta cry off camera. Okay, I'm back. So that ends the melee phase for this round, this turn, and there's only the end phase left, which means that no prone walker, and that just means one more thing. The threat track goes up 1 more to 18, which is the end of the game because we ran out of time. We should have tried it. If we successfully rolled more hold your nerve, then we'd have a little bit more time. But time was against us here. So on a positive note though, Brian Blake did not die. He just ran out of time to secure the last stinking meatbag dead walker into the back of the truck to take to the compound. Oh, What a game. What a game. This is intense. Like, I thought I had it in the bag, but I had out my big mouth too soon and put my stinky foot in my mouth. And this is what happens. I celebrated too early. And I just was horrifically destroyed in this part 3 of Prelude to WoodBury. It still was a lot of fun. I probably sound a little angry or salty on camera. But hey, it's a game. I'm just very competitive, especially when I'm playing solo missions, because I love playing this game. Incredible. Now, this is week 3 of Walking Dead month. So we have one more game to play for the Walking Dead, and that will end this month. So I have to think of what kind of scenario. It's going to be a custom scenario where I'm going to create I'm creating a custom scenario for this game, and it has to reflect what happened with this game and the last game, where Brian Blake ran out of time both games. And he has to prove his worth. He has to show the compound that the reason why he became the leader, the reason why, not because he killed Philip, but he did kill Philip. In my scenario for this game, he did kill Philip. They got in an argument and he just killed him and took over the position of being the boss. But he has to prove to the colony that he can maintain and stay the governor. That's right. Of WoodBury. So I have to think of some kind of custom mission to prove that he's worthy to become the governor. Oh, this game is so good, so fun. Mantic Games, I can't thank you enough for creating this game of The Walking Dead, because it's incredible. I love zombies. I love this apocalyptic world. I can't really say anything bad about the mechanics here. Just sometimes it's hard because I just make the wrong decisions. You know, I'm sure somebody else playing this game and watching this video is like, you know, you should have done this instead. Like, why didn't you do that? Please, if that's the case, comment down below and let me know what you would have done that would have helped determine a better outcome in this scenario of part 3. On top of that, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Show some love. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video. Tell your friends. You know, hey, you got to watch Board Game Maniacs on YouTube, Twitch. You have to follow them on Instagram. You want to watch and follow them on Facebook. Because, just face it, Board Game Maniacs rock. We are awesome. We have a great channel, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And the only reason why it's getting bigger and bigger is because you, the viewers, are showing your love, and you are helping us out every step of the way, and you're making us get bigger. You're helping us get bigger by doing many things, which brings me to my next spiel. And that is, if you want to become an official sponsor of Board Game Maniacs, that's right, an official sponsor, to help us even grow even bigger, you can go to patreon.com/BoardGameManiacs and you can donate $2 a month to help us grow, to help us keep the lights on, to help us get more games, more equipment, to increase the quality of these awesome videos already. And you can also go to streamlabs.com/BoardGameManiacs1 and you can make a one-time donation too as well if you want to help us out. Every little bit helps. If you don't donate, not a big deal. By just watching these videos, showing your love, hitting the thumbs up, it's enough as it is. But every little bit helps. And just remember, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, right now we're having a giveaway. And to be entered in that giveaway, all you got to do is just click the subscribe button and you'll be entered in to win a board game, where we will send you for free. Can't get any better than that just by clicking a button. That's it. And we're going to have more giveaways as we go along and as the channel just evolves over time too as well. Because I do have some more giveaways that I want to do We'll do giveaways on our live streaming, which is on Twitch and YouTube, and then it's going to be primarily broken up into Twitch sometimes for live streaming, YouTube sometimes for live streaming, and also Facebook Live. But that's in the future. So until next time, Board Game Maniacs, communicate, figure out how to kill them dead skin bag walkers, and let me know. Comment the heck out of this video to show me some love. And most importantly of all, and you know what that is, and that is, don't cry on camera when you lose the game for The Walking Dead. No, most importantly of all is, be a maniac. See you next time. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to keep up to date with Board Game Maniacs, click on the like and subscribe button to be notified when more videos come available. If you want to become an official sponsor of Board Game Maniacs, go to patreon.com/BoardGameManiacs. Or you can go to streamlabs.com/BoardGameManiacs1. That's right, and you can donate to help keep the lights on, keep food in our bellies, and play more games. We'll purchase more games, more equipment to make Board Game Maniacs evolve and get bigger and larger. Because of you, the viewers, I thank you from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head for all of your support. And until next time, Board Game Maniacs, be a maniac.